Hi, this is Coach Chan from Uppercut Martial Arts Studio. In this video today, we will be talking about the application of the techniques from white yellow belt ranking, which is code 9. I have explained in previous video there will be 12 techniques when the white yellow belt holder is going for yellow belt test. So out of these 12 techniques, some of them I already explained the application in my white belt application video. So today we're going to add on to that, and plus I would like to add on some further explanation of certain training techniques. Alright, so let's get on with it. The first technique for white yellow belt is lower knife hand, walking stand. Now this technique is nothing special. You just focus on the knife hand part, this part, alright, which is similar to hammer fist. It's the same spot. So you have to learn how to control the strength from your fingers. Alright, how to hold it. A lot of new students like to hold it this way, keep it straight. Now bear in mind, if you hold it straight like that, it's good when you perform pattern. It's very tidy and clean. But when you want to apply application, I prefer to spread the fingers open so that I can focus the energy and power on this part of the knife hand and execute self-defense technique. So obviously this lower knife hand, walking stand, alright, is meant to attack incoming front kick, alright. You may be able to see the insert of a picture with this explanation, alright. I actually asked my wife to redraw that due to infringement possibility. So this is our own material to further explain, especially for my case, I do not have a partner. So once you understand this lower knife hand block application with the picture, all right, you will notice when you improvise using the same concept, it's not just to attack the incoming front kick. It can be turning kick, it can be side kick. Now turning kick is a bit tricky because the force of the kick is very strong, and using a knife hand to attack that turning kick, it doesn't make sense. Your arm is not that strong. But knife hand, because it's very focused on certain area, alright, instead of a fist that focus a lot of area when you attack, it's the difference between a knife and a bat. Bat will damage a person by blunt force. A knife will cut through any surface of the human skin and maybe deeper. So this simulation of a knife hand can be applied to some place that is not too high resistant. For example, the second technique will be inner forearm block, which I explained in Sajo Maki. When you perform a block, when there's someone putting the arm on your shoulder and punching towards your face, you just have to pull your back, your shoulder back with the right inner forearm block. Then you can counter attack with that application. All right. So that is the second technique, inner forearm block, walking stand. So the third technique for white yellow belt is lower block and raising block. Now the movement here will not be the main emphasis in terms of self-defense, because it takes a lot of control to move the hand up and down very fast and effective. All right. Now to block an incoming attack to your head and your body at the same time will allow you to have a free hand for counter attack. All right. Instead of which I will explain later on another technique which falls under white yellow belt techniques. So when you do this, your hand is free to execute. In order to do this fast, your upper body, your torso have to crunch and tense so that you can move very quickly, hence able to execute your technique effectively. All right. So obviously this is to block something attacking to your body, or maybe the front and your head on top. All right. Do not misunderstand that you're going to block this way and this way. You're going to swing, and do not extend your hand this way, because to pull your hand back and execute a raising block is very slow. So understand the concept, pull back your body, not the arm, 1, body back, 2. Then your execution of double techniques with the same limb is more effective. Will be very strong but very, very slow. Alright? So that's the application of how you block double attack instead of moving. This is designed to have a full body workout. Now technique number 4 is inner forearm block L stand. Before that we have inner forearm block walking stand. These two techniques is to prep the white yellow belt holder for the next step, which is in Chunji. Alright, and moving on in the future patterns. So the application remains the same even though it's different stance. Alright, the next technique will be knife hand L stand. This is technique number 5. Half facing L stand. So as I explained earlier, lower knife hand block and knife hand / L stand is just a different target, but the focus point is the same. Alright, it can be the temple, it can be the forehead, it can be the nose bridge. Alright, or any part of the cheek, but if you hit the cheek with a knife hand, it doesn't really have much effect, but the nose bridge, the temple is more effective. So for self-defense, everything goes, sometimes at the back of the head and so on and so forth. Alright, so you just have to study up a bit which is the weak point for a human body. Alright, so technique number 6 will be raising outer forearm block L stand. So as I explained earlier on technique number 3, lower raising block allows you to have a free hand for counter attack. Alright, remember to crunch up your torso to have a fast movement. Now when you face certain angle of attack, you have no choice but to use both hands. So there will be a picture insertion from here as well. Alright, that shows the application separately. One is outer forearm block, which is eye level, to block incoming turning kick sometime. Alright, that's why it's eye level. Inner forearm block is shoulder level. Alright, I can't really say why difference of height, but I would guess it's because of the execution of power. When you hold it this way, compared to this way, your elbow is leaving the body, the support is less. But outer forearm block, if you swing this way, the energy comes back to you. The whole point, outer forearm block is throwing forward to intercept incoming attacks. That's why we do not really use L stand for outer forearm block. Just look at the fingers pointing forward, that's where the energy goes. Inner forearm block towards your body is defensive. Outer forearm block, attack, walking stand. So from here, oh, now I'm doing L stand, outer forearm block. For this, L stand is designed for defense movement. I have to have a strong, firm stance to protect myself from a stick attack maybe, or a knife hand chop, okay? And from another person, 2 angles, one in front of you, one at the side, to block, all right? Now personally, I find this raising outer forearm block to be last resort technique, because once you occupy both hands to defend yourself, you only left your leg this way, block something. And I explained before, I think in a previous video, it's very hard to see 2 targets attacking you from the side, which is twin side block. That's why I explained that their angle of attack is from here in front. Then you can see their attack. So it's the same concept. You can see front and side, both attackers attacking you, and you can block one, block twice, then continue fighting this way. But I feel that if you're using this technique to defend yourself, you're putting yourself in a very dangerous position, standing very close, block, block. Your hand must be very fast because you open up. All right? No. One at a time, yes. Okay? So that is technique number 6 for white yellow belt. The next one will be knife hand guarding block, L stand. All right? Application is still the knife hand, same concept. In the picture, they are explaining how to block an incoming side kick. Maybe a punch that you use your knife hand guarding block, same spot with a hammer fist to intercept that attack. Hopefully to hurt if you kill. Alright, sorry for the sudden pause and cut because halfway making the video, the camera ran out of battery. So we were talking about knife hand guarding block L stand, which is the 7 techniques for white yellow belt. So this is knife hand guarding block L stand. The concept is the same as when I explained the first and the 4th techniques, which is knife hand. So this is a different form to cut sideways. Low, thrust forward now from the side, and this is sideways. All right. Usually is to intercept incoming attacks like punches, side kick, or sometimes even back kick, something straight. Okay. So this is the application that you can apply in these 12 techniques. Already explained that knife hand you can practically invent where you want to attack on the human body. Okay. Technique number 9 is actually a guarding block. All right. The difference is just a fist and a knife hand between 7 and 8. All right. Now, guarding block is something that I would sometimes question on its application. In the picture that you see, this guarding block is being used to block an incoming side kick. All right, or maybe it's a back kick, I'm not sure, but to me, we already have out of one block, okay? Out of one block, raising out of one block, and now we are practicing guarding block. Now to me, guarding block is actually a form of telling your opponent, I'm ready to defend myself, instead of using guarding block as a block itself. So this is my understanding when I execute, and every time we execute guarding block in Taekwondo, we don't use it to block. We use it to get ready to execute whatever techniques we are going to do. So to me personally, when I look at the encyclopedia and it shows a picture of using guarding block to guard a side kick, it doesn't really appeal to me. All right, but that's the thing. In martial art, as long as you find the techniques useful and it works, it works. So there's no sense of arguing whether this technique is right or wrong. We just train. That's the whole point of training. The more we train on those techniques and try to find application on that, that means, if someone kick me, I won't be like, situation, the force is so great that you need to use the reaction force to throw that block, but we have double form block. That's the thing that always make me think twice on the application. All right, that's the interesting part. In Taekwondo, the techniques that we practice, we have to question them. How are they being utilized in real life? In what form, what situation we are going to do that? And our mind will imagine the scenario, and we do shadow movement to this way, maybe turning back, someone attack from the back, this way. So, and all of these are possibilities, and this is why if you train this way, think this way, and you have the passion in all the technique in your pattern, you start to prepare yourself in many situations. Prepare means not just thinking you have to do it, all right? That is how your reflex comes from. for self-defense. Now, we train a lot on sparring for senior, all right? For junior, let's say for white yellow belt, we are training 3-step sparring, knife, hand, slash, body punch, whatnot. Those are prepping one person of creativity in terms of self-defense. But you have to let the students train on the sandbag, train on a target, train on board. All right, that's the first stage. Something that is not moving, you train your reflexes. You have to change that target. Maybe for me, I will extend a stick and tie it on the rope to simulate a punch. Then I can work on something similar. All right, for actual application, block, then punch back. This is what we are not really doing much in our training, all right? And it's very interesting because once you created those images using your own imagination, and when you perform the pattern, it means something. You're not just following the diagram, cross sign, doing punch, block, or 4-directional punch or block. You are actually imagining, oh, I am defending myself, Sajo Jirugi, someone attacking, I attack first. Block, someone kicking me, then punch back. So that is training your reflexes using the form of pattern. And it feels much more complex and interesting as you advance in your belt. Okay, so we're going to move on to technique number 9, which is kicking. 9 to 12 is kicking. And the focus on 9 to 12 is actually the kicking technique from white belt, which involve front kick, side kick, and turning kick, plus a new kick, which is back kick. Now, in technique number 9 will be front kick and turning kick different leg. Front kick, snapping, turning kick, snapping, guarding block. Now, this actually trains the beginner of how to control 2 kicks without falling. Now, bear in mind when you explain the kicking technique to your students, you have to let them know. Sometimes when you kick many times, you have to pay attention on how you control your retract, how you control your recovery after you throw an attack. So, first one, front kick and turning kick. This will apply for the next 2 kicking techniques for white yellow belt. So this is number 9, front kick, turning kick. The first thing is when you kick, you don't throw your body force all the way forward, which I actually explained in the white belt technique. All right, and now you're doing 2 kicks. It's even more crucial that you do not throw your body weight forward. So in application, if you understand the whole point is not about a kick, actually it's how you control your balance and able to recover after you execute certain technique. Then you master your kicks, when and where to kick, and at the same time you can still continue counter attack after your initial attack. So the recovery of how you stand and how you perform the technique is similar. But if we ask the students to do the freestyle, to me they're just kicking fast, showing how they control. But if I ask them to throw front kick, turning kick, same leg, that will require a lot of balance control at the same time. Now the whole point of me trying to explain is the students must understand this is just a formality and it's also a part of exercise. But in real life application, it can be this way, it can be many ways. It's the same kicking technique. You just apply it differently. And the whole point is how you recover and continue to defend yourself with various techniques. So once you understand how to control your body straight after the first kick and not falling forward so that you have time to control the second technique, guard and block, and if there's an incoming attack, you can still continue to apply your self-defense. So this is what you're training in double kicks techniques. So technique number 10 is front kick and side kick. Guard and block. Applies the same way, just kicking different direction. Now, whether to go for the head or the body is all up to you. To me, as an instructor and examiner, when I look at the students executing or demonstrating this technique while they're taking their test, the most important thing that I look at is, are they telling me a story that they are using that to attack or defend? Not merely using them to, oh, or very beautiful, very good posture, very nice, you have a good ability in control, good. But to me, are you able to use it? Are you able to understand what is that kick for? It actually tells you when students have so much passion, they actually kick so relaxing that it tells me more about how they understand the kicking technique than the very stiff. This is just good control. Alright, so I hope you understand what I'm trying to explain here. And technique number 11 is another combination of turning kick and side kick. So all these different kicking techniques for application will be on how you apply them in sparring or self-defense application, because this video is about application. And so on. So your application on this kick leads to that. How you control multiple kicks and able to continue and so on and so forth. Now, another thing is, when you master all this technique, you are supposed to be very confident. And in terms of self-defense, you don't need more than 3 or 4 hits to solve a confrontation. If you take more than that, you become a struggle, a street fight. So in terms of martial arts skill, you still need more experience. You have to be calm, you have to be clear, you have to know what is happening, you have to be able to read your opponent, watch the surrounding where you are in order to apply those different kicks. So remember, this is about balance. And the last one, technique number 12, which is back kick, which I explained before. Look at the back leg, turn in the same direction, kick with the back leg. This is very useful against a hooking punch. When I do this, this part open. So you can imagine, if I'm standing here, I can actually perform a back kick with my head all the way down to avoid that hooking punch. It's open up. Then you are able to injure that person while that person is trying to attack you. Now, the hard part is to read when is that side attack coming. It can be a hook, it can be a turning kick. And every time you open up your body, back kick is the best way to execute for counter attack, because when you perform back kick, you're actually one step forward. So when you're standing there, you can stretch even further when you lean down. Alright, all you need to do is aim for the rib cage or lower ab. Then it's a very effective counter attack techniques. So there you go. All 12 techniques application, which I try to explain as best I can, is still one of the simplest technique for beginners to understand how all these techniques they can utilize as a self-defense technique. It is very important at this stage from white belt and white yellow belt, because if they do not understand why they are doing so and so, when they move on to the higher rank of belt, they will remain the same. Just do the posture for the sake of posture and go for the test. If they do not understand the application, it's just not the same. All right. The whole point for me, from my studies, black belt first dan is Bu Sabum Nimge, assistant instructor. They are informative. They are able to teach, but most importantly, they are able to defend themselves. So where are the techniques from? Just sparring alone is not enough. Just that few submission technique for self-defense is not enough. They have to apply the techniques from all the patterns they learn in color belt and understand how to apply those techniques. Then they have a rich content on how to teach, how to explain, and how to make students fall interest into practicing pattern. All right. So I hope all this video and some of the pictures that I insert is illustrative. I tried my best to elaborate, but if you have any questions, just post your comment at the bottom and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. So I hope you like the video. Please share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.